Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the G&J Podcast. My name is Michael Mayers, and with me, as always, is Chad Juice. Now, we are going to talk to you guys a little bit about the MLB cheating scandal with the 2017 World Series champion Houston Astros, the championship is being looked at as a farce now. For those of you who are uninitiated,
I'm uninitiated myself, so let me know.
We'll break it down for you. We'll quick little cliff notes. So basically, the team was using video technology to steal signs, decode the signs of what the catcher is what the pitch is coming. So they found a way to use video footage from a center field camera to zoom in on the catcher and steal the signs. So if you know if it's a fastball or an off-speed pitch. Then they had their replay booth was close to the locker room, was close to the bench, and they would go and they would give a signal to the guy. He would grab a bat and smash the trash can if it was going to be an off-speed pitch, or I don't know if it's off-speed or if it's going to be fastball, but they'd hit the can if it was one or the other. So say, for example, for sake of simplicity, it's every fastball, you're going to hear that trash can getting hit. Yeah. Well, now you know it's a fastball. You're taking the guessing game. The chess match has now been completely reduced into nothing. Like, you know it's going to be and if you don't hear it, you know it's going to be a pitch that's going to be a curveball or a splitter or a slider, something that's just not a fastball, because that's how you trick batters, is having played baseball is like, you have to mix up as a pitcher, you're supposed to mix up the pitches. Fastball, slower pitch, fastball, like really. So, because what happens is when you see guys striking out, it's like, oh, I thought a fastball was coming, but the ball was slower, so I swung early. Or I thought a slow pitch was coming, but no, it's a fastball, and now I'm late on the pitch.
Right.
If you take the guessing game away, you don't need to worry about, I don't know if it's going to be a fast pitch or a slow pitch. And now, if you know it's going to be a slower pitch, you can wait back and sit back that extra fraction of a second and get that extra torque.
Okay, I get that. So that's definitely unfair, right?
It is. So baseball is a game where there's always been cheating. Like, you know,
I was gonna ask,
they steal signs all the time, guys stealing signs or whatever. But no one's been using technology that you cannot beat. As the opponent, what can you do about video technology being stolen? That's not like video technology being used against you is something that you can't combat. So it's an insurmountable obstacle being put in front of you to create a strategic advantage on the field of play. That is like cheating to the point where you are winning games and costing other teams abilities to play for championships. The Yankees lost to the Astros in the AL final, in the ALCS. Right. The Astros beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers got robbed of an opportunity to at least have a fair play. Every player was saying the same thing afterwards.
So that was
they're a different team at
2017?
home. They were doing it at home all the time, not even just away. They were doing it at home, 2017. So They were doing all of that, and then the MLB had a commissioner's report. They did an investigation, and they said that there's not enough strong evidence to prove that they were doing it in 2018 and 19 as well. But everybody knew, if you look at the team's home and away splits, everybody knew that they were a different team at home than they were on the road. So Aroldis Chapman is going to the Hall of Fame. He is the closer for the Yankees. He throws 105, 104, 103 miles per hour routinely. How do you know a guy who can throw that fast is going to throw you a slider?
Right.
He never does it.
No, obviously they cheated.
And so in Game 6 they had like a walk-off home run to beat the Yankees. They beat the Yankees by 1 run in the first game, the 1 run in the second game, and if you know what pitches are coming, how do we know that you weren't going to win that game without the cheating?
For sure.
And now it's tainted their legacy, and other players around the league are saying, I've lost complete respect for a lot of these athletes off of the team. How this leaked, interesting. Pitcher Mike Fiers felt really guilty about what had happened. He was part of the team that won, and he outed them. He was not part of the team, and he outed them. And he was like, I can't go on with knowing that we cheated like that and whatever. So all of this has culminated in the Astros actually spoke last week. I think it was Thursday, or I think it was Friday. I think it was Friday morning. They spoke to the media about what happened. And the guy was like, did you guys cheat? And the owner of the team was like, I wouldn't call it cheating, but we broke the rules. Like, what the hell? It's the same shit, bro.
Okay.
And Jose Altuve's like, I'm proud of what we did. We were the better baseball team. Like, but he's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. Here's some sketchy stuff, for example. He hits the walk-off home run against Aroldis Chapman, right? And you just hit a walk-off home run to send your team to the World Series. You're rounding the bases and you're coming past third base. You're going toward home plate. And he's holding his jersey like this and telling the guys, don't rip it off, don't rip it off. They had buzzers taped to their body. So they stopped using, allegedly, all of this is alleged. They stopped using those trash cans.
Okay.
And they had buzzers taped to, like, you know those kinetic tapes that you use? Like, you know, you tape your shoulder.
Yeah.
They had things underneath, and it would buzz if it's going to be a fastball.
Right.
Or it would do this if it's going to be a... And then they'd still have so they're still stealing signals and still knowing what pitch is coming. And he's running the home plate saying, don't rip my jersey off. Hits the home run, don't rip my jersey off, goes into the locker room, changes his shirt, and comes back out for the post-home run interview. So he runs into the dugout, changes his shirt, and comes out. And they say, oh, we saw that you didn't want your teammates ripping your jersey off. Like, after a home run like that, they usually do stuff like that. What made you not want to do it? He's like, oh, my wife thinks it was awkward that people are going to see my chest. Like, whatever. I'm like... Your wife
should have come up with a better excuse, man.
Honest to God,
at least,
bro.
You know what's a better excuse would have been like, oh, I wanted to save this shirt because it's memory or whatever, you know?
Right.
Like, something, I don't know.
Like, what are you... I don't know, man. And it's to say that your wife is the reason why you didn't want people to rip your shirt because she's uncomfortable with people seeing my body.
Wow.
Like, no offense, dude, but like, yo, man, just chill. Like, no one's trying to see that. Like, you're wearing a workout shirt underneath. No one gives a shit, bro.
Your chest.
Like... It's ridiculous. It's not even no one's seeing your chest, man. You're just wearing a workout shirt. Like, you would go and roll and BJJ in. Like, what do you mean? What are you showing? What's your wife worried about? Like, dude, it's such BS. And their apologies were trash, man. Really bad. And, like, so, like, the NL MVP, the guy of the National League, Cody Bellinger, was like, yo, like, we feel like we're robbed. Like, that's some BS. Mike Trout from the Angels, like, this is stupid. So, Chris Bryant says, you guys were cheaters. Like, everyone's looking at them like they're cheaters.
So are they going to get sued for that shit? Who's like, there's got to be some repercussions.
Now, this is where it comes down to the commissioner of the league, Rob Manfred. He's got to do something. So what did they do? They launched an investigation and found nothing. But all these independent people are finding all kinds of stuff. So now the commissioner is being looked at like his job might be on the line because he's not doing his job as a commissioner of the league. He exempted the owner from any reprimand. He said that they don't have to deal with anything. They should be stripping this team of. They should be confiscating the trophy away from Houston's only championship as tainted. Yeah. They should take the championship away, vacate the title for that year. The Houston Astros robbed baseball of a champion that year because they cheated.
Find them and maybe not allow them to play in the World Series for like a couple of years or some shit. I don't know.
What they want, but they got to do something. What do you do, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. It's insane what they did, and the level of cheating and egregiousness. Like, the Patriots are looking over at them like, yo, we deflated some footballs. We filmed a practice session. Yeah. We weren't using film during the matchup to decipher what the other coach was saying. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. You're making the Patriots look like they abide by the rules like some saint. Like, it's egregious. You cheated yourself. You cheated the sport. You can't look at yourself in the mirror as an athlete. There will be guys during the year taking retribution into their own hand, feeling like the MLB didn't do enough, and they're going to be throwing baseballs at these dudes' ribs and at these guys' heads.
You think so?
The pitchers will, I know so. They will be throwing baseballs at dudes' heads, and it's going to happen. And the reason that that's going to happen, and I know it will, is because it was an unsatisfactory reprimand, and the players police themselves, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Okay, imagine if Todd Bertuzzi, when he ended the career of forgive me, I don't remember his first name. I think it was Steve Moore of the Colorado Avalanche. When Todd Bertuzzi came up and sucker punched that guy from behind, knocked him out, and he landed on the front of his face and got concussed severely. Damn. He got suspended, heavily fined, heavily suspended, and it was dealt with a very swift manner. Look at Ron Artest going into the stands and fighting fans with Steven Jackson. These guys got dealt with. The league changed forever, and there was something done about it. This is an unsatisfactory resolution that players will now be like, oh, well, you don't want to reprimand? It's like when you call the police and they're saying we can't do anything, and now you're like, oh, I'm going to take justice into my own hands. That's exactly what's going to happen here. It wasn't dealt with properly. The commissioner has to answer to it. He shouldn't be exempting the owner who's saying that they weren't cheating, but they just broke the rules. Right. It's a bunch of garbage. It's just a bunch of garbage, and it's a bad look on a league that's already struggling and having the UFC surpass it as one of the top 4 sports.
I'm sure it's not the end of this particular case, though.
It's still ongoing, and that to me is the redeeming, the saving grace is the fact that there's more stuff that needs to come out and will come out.
It will come out. I'm sure there's going to be harsher repercussions for the Astros, and like it should be, but I don't see it as being done at this point, like being a closed case.
The sad part is more is going to come out, but the MLB commissioner's report said that nothing was found.
Right.
So if you find other people finding stuff, the commissioner is now under fire as well for not doing his due diligence to clean up his sport.
He's been the commissioner for a while, I guess. So.
They're keeping their championship. What about Pete Rose? Pete Rose was a player coach back in like the 70s or I believe the early 80s. Forgive me if I'm wrong for all you baseball heads out here. He isn't allowed into the Hall of Fame. His name was Pete Hustle Pete. Like this guy's out here hustling. He's playing one of the hardest. He was a player coach, so he's playing at the same time of coaching the team. And he was found out that he was betting on the team. He was betting on his team, not to lose where he's throwing games.
Oh, okay.
He's betting on his team to win, but you're not allowed to gamble on your own team.
Right.
What? He's not allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, but you got these dudes straight up cheating and they don't even get their title confiscated? Come on, man.
Yeah, fucking take it away.
It's crazy. You got Barry Bonds and these guys struggling to try to get in the Hall of Fame because of steroids. These dudes straight up cheat, and you're just sitting there not confiscating their title. That's the first thing you should be doing. If I was a commissioner, I'd be levying some crazy sanctions on the dude. Like, yeah, you're a commissioner and you work for all the owners. I guarantee that all the other 29 owners are gonna look at the one owner and be like, "Yo, bump that guy." That's it. Jim Crane needs to figure it out because, dude, I'm not buying your BS.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, they might get rid of him. They might definitely reverse that title as well. So let's see what happens.
I hope they do. Let us
I think
know
they're just scared to rush into it, like, and just make a decision.
I agree, but
there's a lot of that.
It's been 3 years, and you it gets to a point where how can you sit there and say that they were clean for the other 2 years that they were playing in the interim? That's the sad part. And this team's taking other teams out of the playoff picture, beating other teams. You never know how they change the balance of power.
For sure.
It's ridiculous, but what are you going to do about it? Let us know what you would want to see in the comment section below, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right.